Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us for today's webinar, where Customer Journey Analytics and pay-per-call converge. My name is Blair Symes. I'm the Director of Content Marketing here at Dialogue Tech. Before we get started, I do want to go over a couple housekeeping items. This webinar will be recorded, so if you wish to receive the recording, just check your email box about 24 hours after the webinar. I'll send you an email with a link to it. You can watch the webinar again if you wish, if you missed anything, or if you want to share it with a colleague or a peer, feel free, so they can also watch the webinar. Also, time permitting, we will have Q&A at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions that come to you either now or throughout the webinar, just enter them into the chat box you see at the bottom left of your screen, and we will do our best to answer as many of them as possible with the time we have permitting. So again, my name is Blair Symes. I'm the Director of Content Marketing here at Dialogue Tech. If you're not familiar with Dialogue Tech, we're the world's leading marketing platform to track and manage phone calls. And that also includes, of course, pay-per-call campaigns through affiliate marketing. Joining me, I'm very excited about this, is Garth Harris, who is Vice President of Client Services at Cake. If you're not familiar with Cake, they're the leading platform to track and analyze digital marketing ROI in real time, which is extremely important, which we'll be covering a little bit more of today. And they're a huge, huge platform for affiliate marketing. So again, we've got a really packed agenda today. We're going to be covering a lot of material on the customer journey in terms of attribution and tracking. A lot of stuff on pay-per-call, not just in terms of why pay-per-call is now so important, as well as the strategies that both affiliate networks and advertisers running their own affiliate campaigns are using to optimize revenue from pay-per-call. So a lot of stuff on attribution and optimization in this webinar, and we'll try to sprinkle in some success stories throughout to give you some real-world examples. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Garth from Cake, who will start talking about the customer journey.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Blair. And hi, everyone. As Blair mentioned, my name is Garth Harris, and I've been working at Cake for a little over 6 years now. And as Blair mentioned, Cake primarily provides a platform for affiliate marketers to manage, track, and report on all their online campaigns. And although our focus and the focus of our clients has been affiliate marketing for quite some time, we are seeing more clients beginning to introduce more channels into their marketing mix. This addition of multi-channel is why we at Cake are so interested and invested in this idea of the customer journey, and more specifically around customer journey analytics. So first, I'd really like to identify what the customer journey is and how that pertains to tracking and analytics. So Gartner says it's the process of tracking and analyzing the way customers use a combination of available channels to interact with an organization. And I would even argue it's available channels and touch points, since specific touch points, such as pay-per-call, can exist across channels. And the customer journey can include a website, live chat, call center, etc. And examples of channels across the customer journey can include some of the examples from this slide that you can see. So reporting on the customer journey is relatively in its early stage and was really birthed from the set of methods and tools that grew out of CRM. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Salesforce and Marketo and understand they try to boil down the attribution of the user journey to a single touch point. Now, though, customer journey tools aim to build a customer profile based on known attributes and layer on how they behave over time in digital channels or stores. So as you can imagine, data scientists will see the value of such information gathered from enough individuals to marketing efforts to improve offers, messages, timing, and sales. So although I think we're at the place now of knowing what it is, many marketers are still challenged as a result of lacking clear insights into the customer journey itself. And research shows that, from Gartner anyways, that the digital customer experience will be the key differentiator of your organization. And that's why customer journey analytics, to us anyways, is becoming so important. But how well do marketers understand the journey their customers take from awareness to conversion and then beyond? Based on our research, not very. So tracking is really at the heart of understanding the customer journey. Without tracking, it's hard to identify when users engage with your ads and your website. As a user clicks on your Facebook ad or calls the phone number from that search ad and then clicks on that one link on that one blog, it's imperative to track the journey from end to end. So with that said, the customer journey is the path across different channels and touch points. And from my perspective in history with Cake, we're really beginning to see that extend beyond just affiliate. Traditional affiliate networks are now incorporating their Facebook ads or Google AdWords campaigns alongside their affiliates. And for this webinar, we will drill into one of the channels, being affiliate, and one of the touch points being pay-per-call, and discuss how analytics play an important role in optimizing ROI for performance-based campaigns. On the performance side of the fence, having access to your data in real time means optimizing campaigns in real time. And lastly, this new shift really means affiliate marketers need to be fully equipped to track every touch point and channel in parallel in order to accurately report results and look for greater ways to optimize. So we'll explore ways to bridge the tracking and reporting gap to gain a clear understanding of mobile and online performance. So as we explore the affiliate channel as it pertains to pay-per-call and the customer journey, I wanted to discuss a high-level understanding of affiliate marketing to help build context. First, affiliate marketing can happen on multiple levels. Brands that own their own product often engage in some level of affiliate marketing. You may hear it referred to as an influencer program, channel partnerships, or even publisher partners. And typically, you'll find networks at the center of everything. Networks play a vital role in the relationship management piece of the process as they connect a pool of thousands of affiliates to brands who otherwise don't have time or resource to maintain these relationships. Networks ensure affiliates are delivering the right audience to the right landing page and are rewarded when they do that well. And the last piece in the affiliate ecosystem are the affiliates themselves. Affiliates generate interest and deliver traffic to the advertiser through their own media buying efforts, such as leveraging their own blogs, SEO, or email. So often, affiliates take the risk on buying traffic without the guarantee of a payout. They'll spend 2 cents on every click and hopefully for $5 CPA once the user converts on the other side. This removal of risk from the advertiser is what made affiliate popular in the first place. And as you can see, users are sent upstream from the affiliates to the advertiser's landing pages, and once those users convert, a payout is triggered downstream to the networks and eventually to the affiliates. So adding to the ecosystem, I wanted to briefly review the basics of affiliate marketing. As mentioned, advertisers will pay on a performance basis. This means that affiliates and affiliate networks will only get paid once a user does something significant, like either buying a product, downloading an app, or submitting a lead. Users are tracked through a unique link that is personal to the affiliate that either sets a cookie on their computer or through a unique fingerprinting from the session. Each time the user clicks on a specific ad within a specific browser, platforms such as Cake are able to assign a unique session ID that can later be tracked. This is how conversions can be tracked without a cookie even. Because the affiliate space is highly competitive, affiliates are rewarded on either a first touch or last touch basis. This means that multiple affiliates can influence the same user across the same customer journey. Advertisers, depending on industry or vertical, have to choose between those models depending on what they value. And because so many affiliates can compete for the same business, advertisers and networks are constantly optimizing based on real-time data. They can optimize based on the specific creative or ad, the placement of the ad, and many other factors. So although affiliate programs in and of themselves are great, they simply can't live in a vacuum now that we're understanding the greater need to track and report on the full customer journey. I would even go as far as saying it's problematic for advertisers or even networks to report on affiliate in one silo and the more traditional marketing efforts in another silo or multiple other silos. The fact is, all channels influence the customer journey. As a first natural step, we're seeing a trend of merging traditional affiliate programs with pay-per-call campaigns, since pay-per-call is another form of performance marketing. And we ultimately believe that affiliate programs should be tracked and reported alongside all digital marketing channels. So the trend, as briefly mentioned before, is for marketers to incorporate more channels and more touch points into their current digital marketing mix. And from my side of the fence, we're seeing affiliate networks and brands who do affiliate tie in their pay-per-call campaigns side by side with their affiliate campaigns. In fact, many of the same affiliates who only promoted click-to-conversion campaigns are now beginning to see the value in promoting pay-per-call campaigns. So some of the benefits of adding pay-per-call are definitely real-time tracking, means that the anonymous journey is accurately tracked across all channels. We can make decisions on the fly now, and marketers can promote the same offer or landing page through pay-per-call campaigns and click-to-conversion campaigns at the same time. We can also merge traditional tracking metrics and pay-per-call metrics into a single dashboard for real-time tracking and reporting. So this is a simple logistics enhancement. Viewing reports in one dashboard is great and adds time for everything else. Within performance, source-level tracking leads to real-time optimization for increased return on ad spend. So with that said, I'm going to transition back to Blair to speak a little bit more about the basics of call tracking and the pay-per-call model.
Great, thanks, Garth. Yeah, just a reminder to people, if you have any questions, I've seen a few come in, just please add them into the chat box in your bottom left, and we'll get to them time permitting. So Garth touched on pay-per-call, but I really wanted to do a deep dive to show you first about why the importance of pay-per-call to networks and advertisers, as well as why pay-per-call is becoming such a great channel, and then some tips around attribution and optimization. So I love this quote. I use it a lot, but clicks and impressions, despite a sexier image and a decade of media adoration, aren't as highly valued by many businesses as a ringing phone. And we've certainly seen that here at Dialog Tech with the customers we work with for call attribution and pay-per-call optimization. So I just picked 4 customers, but I picked big ones to give you a good example. A child tutoring provider with 750 locations. They're seeing that 90% of their paid search leads, which is a major channel for digital marketing as well as affiliate marketing, are phone calls. 90% are phone calls. A plumbing service with 600 locations, 80% of all of their digital marketing leads are now phone calls. Healthcare with 250 locations, 86% of all their digital marketing leads are phone calls. And then a senior care provider with 800 locations in North America, 70% of their leads that they generate are phone calls. So we've seen this across many industries, but why are phone calls becoming such an important conversion point? So one of the reasons, of course, is that we do live in a mobile-first world. And Google has said that over half of all website traffic globally, as tracked by Google Analytics, comes from mobile, which is an amazing stat. And you can see some of the others when you talk about the different channels, especially in affiliate marketing, some of the big channels you use to drive conversions. Search, over half of all searches are mobile, which is a big impact on SEO and SEM leads. Social, Facebook has always been huge on mobile. 87% of people access Facebook on mobile, and well over half of them only ever access them on smartphones and mobile devices. So display, 60% of digital media time is now spent on mobile. So you talk about display advertising on affiliate websites, blogs, etc., apps. Most of that is being engaged with on a smartphone or mobile device. And email, of course, a big channel for affiliates. 66% of emails are now read on smartphones and mobile devices. So when you see stats like that, it's no surprise now that digital marketers, affiliate marketers have shifted a lot of their advertising from the targeting users on their desktops to targeting users on smartphones and mobile devices. And you can see some of the stats here. This year, mobile is supposed to account for over 67% of all U.S. digital ad spending across all digital channels. You can see some of the breakdowns in some of the major digital channels from paid search. Almost 70% of all search ads are going to be targeting smartphones and mobile devices this year. 84% of Facebook ads now target smartphones, mobile devices. That number keeps creeping up. I mean, each quarter Facebook releases their results, and it just keeps going up. You would think it couldn't get much higher, but it does. And 70% of all U.S. digital ad spending will be targeting smartphones and mobile devices. So when so many people are engaging with advertising and running searches and visiting websites on smartphones, it makes sense that one offshoot of that will be the growth in call conversions. So you can see some statistics here. Paid search last year, for example, in the U.S. alone, paid search advertising generated over 40 billion calls to U.S. businesses. From social advertising, 12 billion calls to U.S. businesses last year, and display 28 billion calls. And you can see over to the right the growth. From 2014 to 2019, we're talking about 110% growth in calls in the U.S. just from digital advertising, which really is an amazing statistic. And a part of that is the click-to-call revolution. So think about how when you're engaging, running a search, or visiting a website on your smartphone, and you want to engage with that business and become a lead, it's just easier to tap on a click-to-call button, either on the landing page or on the paid search ad, for example, as you can see here, than it is to fill out a form on your website. So people who are engaging with you on their smartphones, they want to immediately connect with the business. It's just easier to use the click-to-call, and you can see the numbers from the previous slide bear that out. But it's not just mobile devices and smartphones that are the reason why pay-per-call is becoming such a valuable channel. It's also that when you talk about affiliate marketing, some of the biggest affiliate industries are ones that value calls and value phone conversations. You can see on the left bullets of some of the biggest affiliate industries there are, from insurance, home services, legal, education, credit cards and mortgages, real estate, and senior care. You can think about when you're shopping for one of those services, you do want to speak to a real human being oftentimes to get answers. So you can see some of the statistics in the middle about the people who want to engage with insurance, financial services, education, senior care, real estate, legal and home services over the phone. So a lot of these are considered purchases or complex purchases, not something that you necessarily want to buy online without talking to a human being first. And we're seeing a ton of calls come in to these major affiliate industries because of that. People do want to call, and that's why pay-per-call is becoming so big in the affiliate space with these industries. And again, it's not just, it is obviously very popular. People want to call you when they're ready to purchase, as you can see here. But it's also, when they're ready to, they're just starting their research and they have questions. So maybe people will call you to purchase insurance or financial services, for example. But, if you're in the senior care space or some other affiliate industries, you're not going to purchase over the phone. You're going to want to call, maybe set up a meeting to go either have somebody visit your home, a senior care provider, or go visit a senior living facility. Whatever it is, an appointment is usually the result. So those are the inspiration and the research, not the purchase. So again, depending on what your business is and what type of industry you're working in to drive leads, calls could very well be a very important part of that customer journey. So which is great news, this growth in calls for marketers and affiliate marketers, because calls often convert to revenue at a higher rate. So you can see some statistics that 10 to 15% of calls across industries convert to revenue than web leads. And it makes sense because someone who's calling you is usually a much more engaged lead. They're ready to speak with a salesperson right away. They're not just filling out a form. They're also a live lead that you can engage with right away. You're not having to try to chase them down an hour, 2 hours, days later after they filled out a web form. So you can see how calls and these phone conversations, from pay-per-call as well as other digital channels, are driving such a large amount of spend, $1 trillion in the U.S. This year from phone calls. So with that said, let's dig into some of the pay-per-call strategies, some tips to optimize campaigns for pay-per-call. So just 2 quick tips, this slide and the next slide, before I dive into some others. But I wanted to show at least, the 2 main ways where calls are generated digitally are either having a call button within your ad or on the landing page. So I wanted to take a moment to show some examples of if you're running digital advertising, whether you're an affiliate network or you're working with affiliates and you're an advertiser, it's generating calls directly from digital ads is certainly something you should test. People do want to call. So you can see examples here from search, Facebook, display, and even from email. As people are engaging with these ads on their smartphones, having a click-to-call button is a great way to generate immediate calls. They might not need to visit your website at all. They might be ready to call. This is one way to do it. But if they do visit your website, obviously make sure that you optimize your landing pages and your website to drive calls. And it's extremely important in mobile. Here are some examples. On the left, making sure that including clickable phone numbers in the listings for your advertisers, making sure that people can call directly from your listings. then making sure you put a call button or a number on every page. They don't take up a lot of space. People might want to call you as they hunt through a website. Make sure that you don't just put numbers on your landing pages, but throughout your website to generate that engagement. If you use forms, it doesn't take a lot of space to put a phone number on your forms, so give people that option is great. And then the example on the right, optimizing campaigns around calls. So there's no forms on this particular landing page that State Farm uses, making sure that it's an optimized campaign to generate a call. That is the KPI they're looking to get. And you can see having a big prominent call now button with a message around savings is a great way to do it. So let's dig into some pay-per-call strategies around attribution and optimization for how to drive calls and revenue from your affiliate marketing. The first major thing is whether you're an affiliate network or an advertiser running affiliate programs, running your own and doing your own tracking, you have to be able to, if you're going to run pay-per-call, you have to be able to have great data around marketing attribution in order to optimize and run a pay-per-call campaign. So whether that is tracking calls directly from call buttons within your marketing, online and offline, or it's tracking calls from your website back to the marketing source, the affiliate that drove the call, making sure that you have all that data. And call attribution technology is one way to do that. And we'll dive in a little bit more to that in the next couple of slides. So call attribution for affiliate marketing works primarily in two different ways. The first way, you can just generate your own unique tracking phone numbers, which you can tie to a campaign or an affiliate. So when somebody calls that number, the person, the advertiser, the affiliate network will know that phone number came directly from that affiliate ID or campaign. You can also, for people that visit your website or visit a website, if you want to track some really detailed information on the marketing source, you can use dynamic number insertion. What that means is it'll replace the phone number you have on your site with a unique tracking number per that visitor's session. It'll automatically generate that number per that visitor based on how they found you, the affiliate. And when someone calls that number, you get some great information, not just the affiliate ID or the referring source, but you get information on the digital channel and digital ad that drove the visit, the paid search keyword if it came from paid search, clicker campaign IDs. You track the website interactions. You can see the pages that somebody visited before, during, and after the phone call on your website, and tie that information in with the call, which we'll go into in a little bit more detail. So there's a wealth of information and insights that you can generate from phone calls, including pay-per-call campaigns, whether you're an affiliate network or an advertiser. But here's the three main buckets that Dialog Tech customers focus on. The first is what interaction drove the call, which I touched on a little bit on the previous slide. But there's so much information around attribution information around a phone call that you can generate at the time of the call that will help you attribute, optimize, and run successful pay-per-call campaigns. You can see some examples there. You should also pick up information on the caller and the call. So for example, their caller ID, their phone number, their name, their geographic location, the day and time of the call, any past activity. You can get all this information generated at the time of the call, which is an amazing benefit to marketers, which we'll go into in a little bit later. There's also information around the conversation, which is extremely important for you to track. So what happens on the call? First of all, where did that call go? The location, call center, or agent that got that call, was it answered? How long did the call last, which is a very important, for many affiliate marketing programs, that is one of the ways they measure whether it's a valid lead or not. It's how long the call lasted. What was said on the call? There's information around what words were actually spoken on a call from affiliate marketing that can be of great benefit to networks and advertisers running those campaigns. Call disposition. Was it really a sales call, or was it a support call? Was it a valid sales lead? Did the call convert to a sales op or to a customer, and how much revenue was generated? Depends on how you're doing your payouts from an affiliate marketing campaign, but this is all information that is very important for you to capture to run successful pay-per-call. So some tips around using that information. Obviously, you've got all this great data around the call, making sure that you use it to optimize for what's driving the most good calls. Now, a good call depends on what your industry is, what you care about as an advertiser. A good call could just be a call, or it could be you require a call to last a certain length of time, or you require an appointment or to be booked, or revenue to be generated. It all depends, but you can actually use those key conversion metrics and use that to tie it back to the marketing source and then optimize for what's driving the best good calls to your business, whether it's the affiliate, the ad campaign or channel, the keywords, days of week, times of day, geographic locations. All of this is data, depending on your business, that you can use to optimize for what's driving the best results. You can also learn from caller behavior on your website. So when you can track somebody through the entire journey on your website, from the path they took, the affiliate they came from, the ad channel they came from, through to the call that was made, the path they took to your website, you can see the landing page, you can see the page that converted them. And this gives you some great insights in how to optimize your website and your advertising for the customer experience that's generating the most pay-per-call conversions. You can also use caller data to actually optimize your campaigns, which is something that Dialog Tech customers use, which is we've seen some great benefits from. You've got all this data around caller activity, so you know which channels and which people have called you. You can actually retarget somebody based on that. So for example, if someone visits your website and has called you in the past, if you want to retarget them and see if you can generate an additional visit and a call, you can do that. You can also, if they visit your website and didn't call, perhaps that's the kind of audience that you want to run an affiliate campaign to target. So you can see that they're an engaged audience. You can use that through search ads, display advertising, Facebook advertising to get them to come back to the site and hopefully call and become a customer. You can also use lookalike campaigns, which we've seen are extremely successful. So once you know the profile of someone who's likely to come to a site and call, you can create lookalike campaigns and really expand your reach to find similar people, similar audiences who are likely to come back and call. And you can run targeted campaigns that are optimized for a call. So paid search or display ads that are incentivized to get that call. Right? And you can optimize your landing pages because you know someone's going to come and likely to call. It's really a very effective way to increase your reach and generate more pay-per-call conversions. Now I want to provide a couple tips on, once the call is generated, some of the techniques that affiliate networks and advertisers are using to qualify and route that call. So the first is an IVR. So if you're not familiar with an IVR, it's an interactive voice response is what it stands for. And it's an automated program that someone who calls you can interact with on their phone in order to qualify them. So we have customers that use our IVRs to determine caller intent. Is this a valid lead? Is this somebody that I should be passing forth to through the affiliate program if you're a network to an advertiser? Is it somebody that, if you're an advertiser, should be going and pushing forward to your call center? Are they a valid lead? And if not, you can screen them out. Are they, you can automatically qualify them if they're sales ready. But you can also ask custom qualification questions based on your campaign, based on who the advertisers you're sending these leads are. So for example, perhaps there are custom questions in the insurance business or in the healthcare business where you need this question answered in order to determine which advertiser to route the call to, or which call center or agent to route the call to. You can ask those questions up front. The IVR can automate it and then route that person directly on if they in fact qualify. There's also some great things around call routing, really intricate, complex things that you could do either as a network or as an advertiser that I wanted to touch on as well. First, for the networks, think about, if you're running campaigns from a single pay-per-call campaign, but you're sending calls to multiple advertisers, there are ways you can set up rules within based on all that great data you're capturing either through the call attribution platform, which includes potentially an IVR, but you can set up some great rules to automatically route callers to make sure the right pay-per-call lead is getting to the best buyer. So for example, you can assign a priority to each buyer to determine the call routing order. So if somebody has a contract with you where they're paying more per lead, perhaps you want to make them a priority based on for the calls that are coming in. You can also route calls to different advertisers sequentially via a round robin. So the first call goes to advertiser A, the next call to advertiser B, then to C, et cetera, sequentially. You can only send buyers to calls from the countries or states they care about. So, and during the right days and times. So, certainly in insurance, if you're sending people to local insurance agents in an affiliate marketing campaign, perhaps the people in Ohio only care about callers in Ohio. So you can do that, automatically qualify them based on their location and route them accordingly. You can establish a minimum duration a call must last to be counted as a valid lead, of course. Repeat callers. If you sent a caller from a certain caller ID to a certain affiliate, or sorry, a certain advertiser to begin with, you can make sure they go back to that advertiser. Or perhaps you want to send them to a different advertiser. You can do that. You can do that the same advertiser without double charging them. And of course, you can set up caps, either daily caps or weekly caps, whatever it is, to make sure that calls are you're never sending more calls to an advertiser than they've allocated or contracted you with. Now, if you're an advertiser running affiliate campaigns, there are also really interesting ways that you can route calls. Again, you have all that information that you know at the time of the call, the affiliate ID, all that other information. You can route people differently based on that. So if you're sending calls to a call center, or perhaps you also have individual locations that you're routing pay-per-call leads to from your affiliate campaigns, you can do that. You can automatically set it up to route callers at the time of the call in real time to those areas to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. I also touched on this before, but you should know what happens on calls from affiliates. So how long a call lasted, what was said on the call, was it a quality lead, did the call convert? These are all important metrics to capture to optimize and run successful pay-per-call campaigns. So there are three main ways that we're seeing that our customers are using to do this. First is call recordings. So when the call comes in, the conversation takes place, we can record the call, and then as a marketer, whether you're working in a network, affiliate network, or if you're running affiliates campaigns for your own company, you can listen to those recordings to see what was said on the call, to see if it was a valid lead or not. But if you don't have time to do that, if you're generating tons of calls, some of companies generate thousands of calls a day from pay-per-call, you definitely you don't have time to listen to recordings. There are other metrics or other technologies you can use to evaluate them. One is keyword spotting, which I'll show you an example of on the next slide, but it's a way to run keyword searches through all your calls that you're generating through the transcriptions or the recordings to find out important insights. And the other one is really cool. It's machine learning. So you can actually set up artificial intelligence. I know it sounds very advanced, but this is actually happening where people are using machine learning to automatically analyze a call to determine if it was a valid phone lead, a good call. And I'll show you an example of that in 2 slides. So here's an example of a customer of ours who uses keyword spotting. So this is a national home services provider doing pay-per-call. They want to see, for this particular one, they've generated thousands of calls. But the marketing affiliate manager wants to dive in to a small subset of calls. In this case, they want to look into a specific affiliate who's sending calls to a specific location within the last 30 days, and they want to see all the calls where the caller said the word appointment. So you can see by running that criteria, you can see in the background a list of all those calls, and then they can dive into each call and actually see the conversation and see where that word takes place. And then they can see how long the call was and all the other metrics that they need to determine if this was in fact a valid lead. They can use this to optimize SEO for some insights of what the words people are actually using. All kinds of different insights they can get from that. The other example is the machine learning example. So Comfort Keepers, a customer, they're in senior care. They run they generate thousands of calls a week from their marketing. They actually use machine learning so to dive in and find out if that call was from a new customer or a current customer, if it was from a caregiver, which is what another campaign they run. And when they shoot those calls off to all their franchises, the national marketing team can actually prove, I sent this many calls to this franchise with this call disposition to prove the value of the marketing they're sending. So one last tip before I hand it back to Garth. Make sure if you're running pay-per-call and you've got all this great attribution data, you integrate it with the different platforms you're using, from your CRM system to your performance marketing software and so forth. So for example, integrating Dialog Tech with Cake, it's a no-brainer. Getting all this information in real time with the online and the call component is a must for optimizing your pay-per-call and really all the customer journey programs you're running. And I'll hand it back off to Garth to cover a little bit more.
Awesome. Thanks, Blair. So most of us have heard of attribution, and some of us even try to use it in a sentence sometimes. At Cake, we have a unique perspective with a really rich history in performance. So attribution evokes different thoughts for different people. Some of us are maybe familiar with products that specifically analyze the customer journey based on imported stats and make sense of where to spend your marketing dollars. For others, a U-shaped model or a time decay model may not mean anything. But within the world of affiliate specifically, however, attribution has always been and is presently based on a first touch or last touch model. And I briefly mentioned that earlier. Advertisers and marketers in general are beginning to track beyond affiliate and beyond each channel individually. They understand that every click and impression and call gets the user closer to the points of conversion. Within affiliate, attribution is shifting then. Companies are beginning to question the status quo. Is there such thing as partial payment if an affiliate contributed to the conversion along with a Google AdWords campaign or even Facebook campaigns? As a means of wrapping up my section, I wanted to leave you guys with some reasons as to why tracking, attributing, and reporting the customer journey matters. First, tracking the journey means you can capture detailed insights to the various channels and touch points that your users are engaging in. Even at a basic level, this is valuable since it helps answer questions around what journey your users are taking, which is really reason number 2. Do they always start in search and end in display, or are you seeing other channels at the top of your funnel? Third, this allows you to put all of your spend in one place. And lastly, if you can report on total media buying spend across all channels, you should be able to discover your true return on ad spend. Removing the silos means seeing the full picture clearly. And with that, I'll transition back to Blair.
So thanks, Garth. Again, a reminder, we've seen a couple of questions come in. If you have any questions, that's something we've covered, please insert it into the chat box on the bottom left, and we'll do our best to cover that. I did want to end the formal presentation with at least sharing a customer success story. So this one involves one of the world's leading performance-based marketing networks. So this network, they connect affiliates with advertisers in insurance, healthcare, home security, home improvement, education, and others. So we're talking about industries, again, where pay-per-call is certainly, people want to talk to those industries. So pay-per-call obviously makes a ton of sense. So their goal was to drive phone leads to their advertisers from affiliates, since live callers are really the most valuable lead for their industries. Those are the ones that the people were spending the most money to get. So they needed a way to route those leads in real time to the right advertisers based on different criteria, as well as connect those calls to the customer journey with all the online leads they were generating. So how they did the call component, you can see an example here. When a call is made, when a lead engages with the affiliate marketing, the affiliates that are working with this performance marketing network and call, at that time of the call, they were using Dialog Tech to attribute all the marketing data that we talked about. They're then using that data as well as an IVR to how to determine how to best route those callers based on the digital ad or keyword search that generated the call, the day and time of the call, what the response is to the different IVRs they were using. So and also based on each advertiser's call threshold. So how many calls at one time each advertiser is willing to take, as well as their cost per call agreement. So the more lucrative calls, the more advertisers that are spending more on calls could get priorities. All of these things happen in real time at the time a call is generated. So the qualification, the attribution, all that's happening. And then they're using dialogue tech to capture what happened on the conversation. So the validation part, to make sure that the call was answered, it was a valid lead based on that specific advertiser's criteria. So perhaps an advertiser needed the call to last a certain amount of time, or they're willing to spend more on a call that was 5 minutes versus a call that only lasted a few seconds. Or if there was an actual conversion that happened, whatever that outcome was, they were tracking that and so they can make sure that they pay out for valid leads. Now, they're taking that call component and integrating dialogue tech in real time with Cake. So the Cake platform was their main hub for analyzing and optimizing the online and pay-per-call campaigns in real time. So Cake was capturing all the online leads that the network was generating from affiliates and passing on those leads to their advertisers. They were getting that information about the call component from dialogue tech in real time. So these networks, this network was able to do some amazing optimization. So it's not just seeing that a lead was sent and whether or not it was a valid lead and handling the payouts, but really they can actually optimize in real time based on the best affiliates, the best sources that were generating the best calls. And you can see the results in the first 6 months. Just from pay-per-call alone, they were able to generate 500,000 phone leads to advertisers. So it was really a huge success. With that, just a quick summary of our webinar before we get to the Q&A. What we've covered today. The first point, obviously, is that people that engage with affiliate programs on their smartphones, and definitely in certain industries where conversations are important, they want to call. So pay-per-call programs can be very lucrative for both advertisers and performance networks. Marketers should track data on what drove the call, the caller, and the conversation. They should also have all that information integrated into to provide a holistic view of the customer journey, like Garth talked about. So having that information from the online piece as well as the over-the-phone piece to optimize ROI, and having that information exist in solutions that can use it in real time to help advertisers and networks get the most bang from pay-per-call campaigns. So we're going to get to the Q&A in a minute, but if you're interested in learning more about pay-per-call from Dialogue Tech, you can visit our website. We've got some resources on there on call attribution and pay-per-call that you could find interesting. If you want to request a demo of our platform, our pay-per-call attribution and routing platform, we'll be happy to help you with that. If you want to visit the Cake website at getcake.com, they've got some great resources as well around digital marketing attribution, both for affiliate marketing as well as for other channels. And you can certainly request a demo of Cake there as well, or give them a call. They'd be happy to engage with you and answer your questions. So let me take a deep breath. We've got a bunch of questions here. I do want to get to as many as we can with the time we have permitting. So, okay, here's a question. Garth, maybe this is one that you can help me out with. It's a question around who's really doing, who's pay-per-call for and who's doing it. So is it primarily brands or advertisers that are integrating pay-per-call into their affiliate programs, or is it more than that? So maybe you can just talk a little bit about what you're seeing at Cake in terms of who's doing this kind of pay-per-call integration.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, we're actually seeing both brands and networks use pay-per-call tracking right now. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for brands because they own the landing page and they want to track callers buying their own products. But networks are finding value in using pay-per-call tracking for lead generation on behalf of their advertiser relationships. And we're seeing that obviously specifically through the use of dialogue tech. And more networks are actually finding this business model to be a lucrative addition to the traditional affiliate that they're already doing today. It's a good question.
Yeah, that's perfect. I couldn't add more to it. Okay, here's a question around determining, okay, so I'm starting to do affiliate programs and wanted to know how to determine how much to pay affiliates. So maybe I'll start with this, and Garth, you can maybe add some color to it if you think I missed anything. So, from my standpoint, if you're looking to start doing an affiliate program and you're an advertiser, if you're trying to determine how much to pay, it really just depends first on what the goal of the program is. So are you trying to drive website leads or website visits or phone calls? Are you looking to pay out only for certain conversions or outcomes like an appointment? Or do you only care about actual revenue or sales and pay affiliates based on that ultimate outcome? So that's something first for you to determine. A good rule of thumb is to look at all your other programs, your non-affiliate programs like paid search, Facebook, SEO, email, whatever it is you're doing, and really determining a CPA, a cost per acquisition for those programs, and then maybe seeing what you're willing to pay an advertiser percentage-wise based on that, so you can still get a good profit margin for those accounts while still giving the affiliate great incentive to send you leads. You don't want to pay out too low, because then affiliates won't want to work with you. It's not worth their time. But you don't want to pay out too high because it hurts your profitability. So you can pay out based on call duration and all these other things, but really determining what your end goal for your affiliate campaigns are, and then finding out CPA, I would recommend. I don't know, Garth, did you have anything on what you guys are seeing for how people are determining how to monetize or create payouts for affiliates?
Yeah, I think it really boils down to two things. There's really the profit margin element, and then also the cost of acquiring a customer. So obviously within affiliate, you mentioned that you want to make sure there's enough incentive for your affiliates to actually be spending their own dollars and cents on paid media to potentially get users to your website where a CPA makes sense for them. But at the same time, if it's an e-commerce type product, it's just going to be a percentage of whatever they actually bought. So if I bought a pair of shoes, I pay my affiliate a percentage of that, where there's still profit margin left for me. Whereas if it's a lead, it's a little bit more abstract. So you really have to determine how much that lead really, means to you. Overall, for every 100 leads that you acquire, how many customers do you actually acquire? And so that can help you determine the cost of acquiring that customer, which ultimately you can kind of backfill into how much that CPA is. So yeah, there's a few different rules of thumbs for different types of conversions, but hopefully that leaves you with a few more things to chew on. Yeah,
perfect. So we got time for maybe 2, maybe 3 more questions. Here's one. Okay, so this is a customer journey question. Garth, maybe I'll have you take this one. So this person wants to know, when you're talking about generating, marketing reports, what are some of the more popular reports that people are leveraging in order to optimize the customer journey?
Yeah, within the customer journey, it's interesting because there's not a lot of platforms that truly identify themselves today as customer journey platforms. I think it's all something that we're all trying to do. On our side of the fence, anyways, we're seeing that marketers really like the visual reference of the various touch points of the journey. They really want to see where the user started and where the user ended before converting. So any kind of visual reference to showcase that journey with all the touch points in between is becoming super valuable. And one of the most requests that we're actually getting on our side of the fence anyways.
So I think we probably have time for just one more. Let me see. I'll get this one. Any questions that we didn't answer, we can follow up with you directly. We apologize, but this will be the last one. It's a question on looks like it's from an affiliate network asking if there's a way. So there looks like they're running campaigns where they're routing calls. They have people who are spending a lot of high-paying buyers as well as some lower-cost paying buyers that they're routing calls from the same campaign, and they want to know, it's interesting, if there's a way that they can route these calls. They want to send more calls. Okay, I'll just answer it. Yes, there is a way that you can send more calls to the higher-paying buyers each day while not ignoring the lower-cost ones. So you want to make sure that you can send calls to the lower-cost ones as well. You don't want to cut them off. So you can configure your pay-per-call where you can send, say, 50% of your calls to advertiser A, who is a higher-paying one, and then maybe a lower percentage to advertisers B, C, and D, just to make sure that they're not being cut off. And then once advertiser A's call threshold is met, you can then switch that up and then have all the rest of the calls go to the lower cost ones. So sorry, I know I'm rushing that question, but we've run out of time. So again, thank you so much to Garth from CAGE for joining me today. I hope that you guys found this webinar helpful. If you want to see a recording or watch it again, you should be getting an email from us within 24 hours. So feel free to watch it again or share it, and visit our websites if you have any further questions that we didn't get to as well today. But thank you so much for today's webinar, and we will see you next time.